at Viking Stadium in Palo Alto as the Milpitas Trojans are in town for a Santa Clara Valley Athletic League showdown with the homestanding Palo Alto Vikings. Hello, everyone. I'm Trevor Felch alongside Eric Leroy. Welcome to the Palo Alto Media Center's broadcast of tonight's game, and it's almost an annual event, a very close competitive matchup between Milpitas and Palo Alto. Last year's Paly defeat only by 5 points after a fast and furious comeback attempt by the Vikings just fell short. And we'll see about this year. A victory for the Vikings could give them a tie, top the standings in the division for the Vikings, as the Trojans
happens around in this season when you have this is your 7th game, and it's important at this point to assert yourself, especially when you're Palo Alto and your team right now is 3-3. Basically, the success of your season is in jeopardy if you start losing games at this point with already 3 losses.
However, both teams are riding win streaks. For the Vikings, albeit just a 1-game winning streak after winning on the road last Friday at Saratoga, but they have struggled here at home, actually 0-2 so far, and only 4 games on the home schedule this year for the Vikings, so a victory tonight would be very important. And Eric, as we were talking about in the pregame, you're thinking the key to tonight's outcome is the rushing game, which really has struggled for the Vikings this season.
It's going to be basically on the ground. The Palo Alto defense needs to stop the run game because that's what the other team is most effective. They have an incredible running game that has the potential to completely decimate Palo Alto if they can't make tackles and bring players down and stop basically the teams from converting.
To drive that point home that Eric was just talking about, Milpitas averaging 246 yards this season. That's a lot of rushing.
Yeah, and then their prominent, definite quarterback, Paly Canada, getting 134.3 yards per game. That is more yards.
Here's tonight's national anthem. The national anthem before tonight's game between the Milpitas Trojans and the Palo Alto Vikings here on the Palo Alto Media Center. I'm Trevor Felch alongside Eric Leroy with our cast and crew. Executive producer Chuck Alley here with you on a glorious night for football as the captains are now meeting at midfield, and you can see there number 10 for the Vikings, there's senior quarterback Keller Christ. You know, Eric, we were talking about the rushing game being so important.
Yes,
but when you have a quarterback of Christ's caliber, do you even need a rushing game, really?
Well, you can have a good quarterback, but what it comes down to is can your receivers make catches and make plays? And that needs to happen as well. I think that what Palo Alto wants is they want a low-scoring game. And I think that what they need to do is they need to focus on their defense. And a lot of these players, they play offensive positions and they also play defensive positions. Andrew Frick getting basically the most tackles for Palo Alto, while as also being one of their prominent running backs. So players playing multiple roles. So really what it needs to be is a balance between effective offense, but really, really effective defense, and not let Milpitas just get ahead by more than 2 or 3 possessions.
I think, yeah, what you just said to me is something that Paly in the past few seasons has done so well, but hasn't this year, and that's winning the first half. That they're just kind of starting off slow and then falling behind, and then you just don't have any momentum, while the other team coming back from halftime. And we saw this perfectly in our last broadcast 2 weeks ago against Wilcox, where Wilcox just owned the second half, and they really had their run game established. They tired out the Paly defense. As we were just talking about Andrew Frick, most of the Paly players have to play both ways on offense and defense, and if the opponent and Milpitas has a phenomenal running game, so if you can really establish that rushing game, it's just a fact Paly's going to get tired out. So that's why Paly, conversely, also needs to establish that running game. Control the ball more. Time of possession, it's critical. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
And we will see how Earl Hansen's offense can do tonight with a tough opponent, arguably the premier team in the De Anza division of the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League in Milpitas.
Yeah, 5-1 this year, which is quite nice.
A top 25 team in the Bay Area.
Against the Vikings, by the way, which are 3-3 now.
Which is
not
very
so good for the
uncharacteristic
Vikings.
of how the Vikings have been in recent seasons. Even returning to the CCS playoffs in serious jeopardy. And frankly, this kind of is the season in a way.
Yeah.
And then the
They need a
other
big win.
real showdown that they have is the last home game of the year. We'll be broadcasting that one 2 weeks from tonight here against Los Gatos. And it's sort of three-way battle. Milpitas, Los Gatos,
You guys
Palo
just saw
Alto.
Malcolm Davis getting ready to receive.
Indeed, we are set to go. Milpitas will be kicking off from our left to right, north to south. The lights are on. Nothing but stars overhead on a glorious Friday night for football. Milpitas and Palo Alto ready to go. And the Trojans kick off, and this will be bouncing around loose around the 5-yard line. The ball is loose. Not a great way at all for the Vikings to start.
I think Davis got it.
I think Davis was able to. I think he did bounce on it. Not an auspicious start by any means.
Trevor, that was just ugly. It's ugly. It's not how you want to start. You're supposed to come out threatening. I mean, if you begin the ball game like that, I mean, that could have been a recovery at like the 10-yard line.
That could have been a turnover, touchdown Milpitas before the first minute of the game is.
Yeah, talk about not falling behind. That would have been really bad.
So the Vikings do have the ball, though, their own 15-yard line. Mistake it all. Keller Christ at the controls. Hands off and on 1st and 10. Up the middle for Malcolm Davis. Against the 20-yard line for a pickup of 5. So some of the key figures here, Eric, in this Viking offense, of course, you have Keller Christ, the quarterback, 6'4", 230 pounds. He has been excellent this season. 16 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions thrown, 64% completion percentage. And on his first pass of the night, it is complete. Far side, first down and more. Out across the 30, 40, and Davis breaks a couple tackles and has a first down to the Viking 45-yard line. Flag thrown on the play. It looked like the official was pointing towards Milpitas, though, so I expect the call to stand.
Well, no look there for special teams, but I like how this offense is starting out here. We have a running attempt, which works. We have a throwing attempt, which works.
Well, I spoke prematurely. The call goes against the Vikings. We keep talking about establishing rushing games, not committing turnovers. Well, the most fundamental problem as well that the Vikings have had issues with this year, that always will come back to haunt you, and that is penalties. And the first penalty of the night committed by Palo Alto. So a 1st and 10, ball at the 32-yard line for the Vikings. No gain there on the carry for Davis. Along with Davis, some of the key wideouts to keep an eye on. Keyshawn Johnson, one of the senior captains, and you also have the sophomore wideout Eli Gibbons, who slowly has become arguably the go-to target for Christ, even though Christ over the past couple seasons has really been able to establish a connection with the more veteran receivers like Johnson. Quick drop, and the screen pass complete near side. Pick up a 3 yards for Keyshawn Johnson.
One of the things that's important to have in football is strong hands. And when we talk about strong hands, we're talking about hands that have grip and also hands that can come up and make big catches. And also, having strong hands is important for running backs as well, to really be able to hold on to the ball.
Now a 3rd and 4 for the Vikings from the 38-yard line of Palo Alto. Split backs behind Christ. Play action, Chris looking left, in trouble, and down he goes. Boy, did the pocket collapse quickly there.
Well, he was jumping around there in the pocket, and I think he was looking for a place to run, but there were 3 guys on him.
Tavita Musica with the Milpitas sack.
People sticking their faces in front of the camera.
So the Vikings will have to punt here on their opening drive. Back to receive for Milpitas is Trey Hartley. Very dangerous, and Paly wisely just avoids any form of return by Hartley, downing the punt at their own 33-yard line. So we'll see the Trojan offense for the first time tonight. It will be interesting to see who will be the quarterback for them. They sort of go with a dual quarterback system in John Keller and Ronnie Reed, and I see Reed out there. Also, when I was watching warm-ups out on the practice field, Ronnie Reed was getting most of the reps. I had no idea prior to tonight, by the way, that when both teams are warming up during the junior varsity game out on a field far away from here near the locker rooms, so there's a fumble on the snap. Reed alertly pounces on it. Both teams looking a little bit shaky here in the early going. Maybe some nerves. But I didn't know the 2 teams practiced together on the same field, so obviously can't exactly give away any of your secret plays.
You were talking about Ronnie Reed. I think that this guy is a quarterback with a lot of potential. Currently has a quarterback rating of 106, which is pretty well. He got 105 yards passing last week. Actually, I'm sorry, the entire season, 805 yards.
Savion Black gets the carry. At least able to bring the ball back to the original line of scrimmage. A familiar face in these parts. Savion Black, a transfer from Paly, a former Viking. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't usually see in high school games, ex-players playing on the other team. That seems to be something we see more in the professional league. Okay, he's breaking
pounding
free.
His way through the middle there is Squally Canada, and Canada has a first down and far more deep into Paly territory. Finally, the Vikings secondary catches up to him at the 10-yard line.
Those were exactly the kind of plays we were talking about Palo Alto needed to prevent, because that stuff will kill you.
And what seemed like just a power-strong run to try and maybe weed out 10 yards, and all of a sudden, here you have a pickup of 56 yards for Squally Canada. Was there a flag on the play, though? The official...
We have sideline interference here.
Sideline interference on Palo Alto.
So Palo Alto just keeps on giving gifts.
Well, I'm confused because now they're moving the ball back.
Yeah, that's interesting.
A little bit because it looked like Canada didn't even go out of bounds until the 10-yard line, and if the penalties against Paly. I guess the only way Paly figured they would be able to stop Canada was if the sideline got in the way.
How often do you see a penalty on one team and then they move forward?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Oh, some things you just can't explain. They'll tell us in the press conference after the game what exactly happened there. But now Milpitas, 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line, moves forwards on the carry. by Royce Kinn. Gain of 5 on the play. By the way, Eric, just looking at this offensive formation that
I was about to talk about this
with, it's
offense.
a wing T formation where they have
It
the
is.
3
They're so
closely. It
close.
almost looks like the victory formation, like when you kneel down at
Yeah.
the end. I keep thinking the quarterback Reed's going to take a knee. Here's the handoff on the 2nd down. Nowhere to go for Black again. 3rd down coming up for the Trojans.
It's an interesting way to play football, that's for sure. You don't see that every day. It's very tight and compact. All the players are shoulder to shoulder.
And it's definitely a rushing formation if I've ever seen one. They don't even have receivers out there. They are deciding already, we're going to run, and we're going to keep running at you. And guess what? Here's a run. Savion Black looking for the hole off the left side of the line. He's near the 1st down around the Viking 15-yard line.
It's an interesting choice. I'm not sure that I would do this, even if I had the greatest running game ever, because what you're basically telling the Palo Alto defense is we're always going to run the ball. If you don't put wide receivers out there, there's really no tricking the defense, so they're going to know exactly what's going on. And that can be dangerous. As we see here, hasn't been much movement.
But it's been working fine for the Trojans. They're moving the chains and move the chains once more. 1st down and 10 at the 15-yard line of the Vikings. And guess what? It's another handoff this time.
No way.
Dylan Stack on the carry. Or check that, that's Squally Canada. By the way, we were wondering about the pronunciation of Squally Canada's last name, and the public address announcer is also saying Canada, so I think we're correct here. So Canada with a gain of 3 brings up 2nd and 7 at the Paly 11-yard line. Halfway through this opening quarter, no score, but the Trojans are threatening here at Hadre Field in Palo Alto, and nowhere to go for Canada as he runs right into the hands of Justin Rittman, the big 6'3", 235-pound defensive end of the Viking line. 3rd down coming up. Yeah, you just don't want to run into the hands of Jack Anderson or Rittman. That's the only way, really, the Vikings will be able to stop this very powerful rushing game of the Trojans, and it worked there. Somehow they got to get pressure and make Milpitas do something else.
Well, what Palo Alto really needs to do is make sure they don't make any mistakes.
Here's Black weaving his way up the middle. He has a 1st down and more into the end zone. Touchdown, Milpitas, and it's the former Viking first saving on Black with the touchdown.
Talk about being a traitor there. Damn.
Silencing the already quiet Viking crowd as they just watch the Milpitas offense literally run the entire way over the Viking offense for the first score of tonight's game. Point after on the way for the Trojans is up and good by Andrew Williams, or no good, wide left. So with 5:09 to go in the first quarter, Trojans lead is 6-0. But that is exactly what Earl Hansen did not want to see. The opening drive, he knew that the Trojans would try and establish the rushing game, and that is exactly what they did.
Well, I think with a Palo Alto team, you have Chris, you have a high-power offense. Getting touchdowns is not going to be impossible, and after missing the extra point, you can be up with the touchdown after you make the point. And one thing that we haven't seen done very well here tonight are the kick attempts. I think that one of the reasons that drive was so successful was that the kick itself, to begin the drive, was only about 15, 20 yards. You need to have your kicks be farther.
Well, Vikings trailing here in the early going as Andrew Williams kicks off. It will be Keyshawn Johnson back to receive from his own 10, out across the 20, 30, and caught at the ankles of the 35-yard line by Dwayne Jones. So back out onto the field goes
We haven't said the name.
Christ.
We haven't said the name Keyshawn Johnson very much tonight. The man has
and for
7
any
touchdowns this season.
way for Paly to have success tonight, Eric, we need to say his name more
Oh,
often.
yeah, we need to be saying Keyshawn Johnson a lot, especially, as I was just saying, he has 7 touchdowns this season. So basically, he's getting a touchdown every night since this is their 7th game.
Absolutely. Keller Christ with 16 touchdown passes on the season. So, as with the this being the 7th game of the season as well, averaging over 2 touchdown passes a game, you also would expect Chris to get things going offensively. On first down, a loss of 1 there for the Vikings. You know, just a lot of things haven't gone really wrong for the Vikings this year. It just hasn't clicked like in years past. The offense hasn't been as high octane. And frankly, they are a smaller team than in recent years. They both size-wise of the players, and also just there are fewer players in general on the roster.
Unfortunately, that's one thing you definitely notice in high school football. When one team looks smaller than the other, it can be intimidating.
Back to the original line of scrimmage there on the carry by Frick, brings up 3rd and about a long 9. The ball just shy the Viking 38-yard line. Now, I was mentioning in the pregame to our crew, there's at least twice as many members of the Paly band than the football team. It did not used to be like that. Back to pass. Chris fires his strike complete. First down at midfield, and there he is, Keyshawn Johnson with his first catch of the night. Wrapped up by Dwayne Jones, but a pickup of 12 yards, enough for the Paly first down.
Well, both players there really read the play perfectly. There was really great communication between the wide receiver and the quarterback. You could see they almost had eye contact.
Beautiful pass, too, by Chris. That's what we've grown accustomed to. He had plenty of time. Good protection by his line. And when you give Chris time, and he has an open receiver, it's almost a guarantee first down. Now he does not have time here. Scrambling right. Fires a dart down the sideline. Incomplete. Frick, the intended receiver. No, Milpitas knows the only way you can really stop Chris throwing, make him uncomfortable. You can't let him... He's not a mobile quarterback necessarily. You can't let him be comfortable.
He's like a Ben Roethlisberger kind of quarterback. He's big. He's got a big arm. And if he uses that against you, that can mean points.
One of the biggest members of this Paly team, 6'4", 230. Scampering along the far sideline there, Malcolm Davis runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Gain of 2, 3rd and 8 coming up now. 6-0 Milpitas the score. 3:21 left here in the first quarter. And a big 3rd down now for the green and white. High formation. One receiver splits wide to each side. Chris under center. Play action. 5-step drop. Looks left. Throws left. Got a man. Caught. It's Johnson. Breaks the tackle and more. 30. Inside the 20. Down to the 10. He steps out of bounds. Around the 12-yard line. A pickup of 36 yards from Keller Chris to Keyshawn Johnson. First down, Palo Alto.
Well, that was a great example of what this offense can do when you give Paly Chris some time.
And that is exactly the connection that the Vikings have been looking for here in the early going. Chris found his man. Backs split behind Chris here on first down and 10 at the 12-yard line. Frick powers his way up the middle, inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. Vikings showing great balance here offensively in the early going. When they're not making penalty mistakes, they look pretty sharp.
Indeed, they do. Now we need to see if they can capitalize on their current success.
2nd down and 5 now. The 7-yard line, I formation. We'll see if the Trojans try to bring pressure. Here's Davis, gets the call up the middle inside the 5, down to the 2. Looks like some extra curricular activity going on there after the play. Looked like one of the Trojans threw down tight end Tilly McAllister. McAllister was saying,
I'm
"What in
surprised
the
there
world
wasn't
was
a
going
flag."
on?" Well, they were saying it's just football, but look at this pass here by Chris. Looked almost a little bit wobbly, not a nice crisp spiral from him, but Johnson wide open. Nobody was even within 5 yards of him. 3rd down and 1. Here's a handoff to Frick up the middle. 1st down and more, and he's in. Touchdown Vikings, Andrew Frick. Ties the game 6 apiece with 2 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Well, that's the type of offensive drive there, Eric, that the Vikings are hoping that they'll be able to replicate multiple times tonight.
You know, as it currently is, if the Vikings win, this is an upset for Milpitas. So this is what you got to do if you're going to upset a team. You need to retaliate when they score. As we were talking about earlier, one of the important things that you cannot do against a team this good is let the separation between the points become too big so that you're demoralized and players stop playing and you just don't catch up anymore. The score needs to be close the entire game.
And Fogarty's point after good, so Palo Alto, despite both teams each having a touchdown, Vikings have the score. It's a matter of extra points, 7-6, and who knows how important that will be. Just as Paly, they have lost games this season due to lack of 2-point conversions or extra points. Brian Molina to kick off the Vikings from right to left. So the Trojans in unfamiliar territory, finding themselves facing a deficit. Return from the 3-yard line of Milpitas, out across the 15, nearing the 20, and that's all flying from right where the tackle was made there on the Trojan return man, Trevion Green. Let's see which way. Generally, this type of penalty is a holding or a block in the back.
I just wanted to comment and say that that kick was really amazing. Those are the kind of kicks which basically set up your defense to have a good time out there, you know. If you kick the ball and it lands around the 30, it's just not going to be effective. That kick was booming. Look at how far and deep the offense is going to have to work.
So the Trojans just moving themselves backwards. 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line. And the handoff on 1st and 10 goes for a couple yards to Squally, Canada. Trojans 5-1 this year. They are undefeated in league play so far, 3-0. They've had tremendous success over the years with their head coach Kelly King, along with Los Gatos and Paly, always right at the top of the standings in the Danza division of the SCDAL. As you see the huddle, but just continuing to move forwards. Yeah, you know what's fascinating? I don't remember seeing an offense that was so determined not to throw the ball. It doesn't even occur to them to go by the air. And you look statistically, it's been almost 50-50 this season, Eric.
Well, I wonder what they do when they start losing, because do you really run the ball when you're down 14, something like that? You know, actually, it's interesting because the most this team has ever been down by is 24 in their loss against Valley Christian, which is actually
really that was the only negative game they've had the entire year.
Yeah, every other game has just been a tremendous success for them.
Last week at Santa Clara, Milpitas convincingly won 56-7 the week before. For their homecoming game, they won 54-14 over Saratoga. Their first game of the year at home, they defeated Woodside 50-6. So, yeah, close games. They don't have a whole lot of experience in that regard. You're right, that one defeated season.
Maybe that's when they switch out their quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those types of games have the types of scores where just every offensive drive you score.
Although I have to say, I am surprised because you were talking about before the game, the players warming up, and I was watching this Ronnie Reed throw, and man, he's got an arm.
I saw him. that's what's impressing me, and it's almost like I feel like we're going to see Milpitas change a little bit. That they wanted to give this look to Paly, and then they're going to throw a little bit of a diversion in a way. Oh, yeah, we actually do throw the football also. As we've reached the end of the first quarter. Well, when you have this much running, those 12 minutes go by in about 13 minutes. And after the first quarter of play here at Padre Field in Palo Alto on Homecoming Friday, the Vikings lead the Trojans 7-6.
Yeah, and what a great night here in Palo Alto. You know, I was going to say it was almost colder in September than it is now here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's just the barbecue that is tearing out on us.
You feel the warmth of the barbecue?
Oh, yeah. I can smell it, too.
I definitely can smell it. It's driving me nuts. You see Steve Bono, the quarterback's coach of the Vikings, talking with Keller Christ. Oh, what camera work there, as you can look from the players' perspective at us here in the stands in the high atop Padre Field in the press row.
We sure do have an awesome crew.
We have the best seat in the house here. We're the only ones here with the television as well. A lot of the fans like to ask us, you know, did it look like there was was that the correct call or whatnot? But then they can't remember that we have our headsets on and we can't hear them. I'm Trevor Felch alongside Eric Leroy as we begin the second quarter of play here from Palo Alto, California. 7-6 Vikings have the lead. A first down on that carry for the Milpitas Trojans. Boy, some of my fondest memories from high school. I actually went to high school at that other high school here in Palo Alto called Gunn. But homecoming was always my favorite week of the year. I always, as the public address announcer, the football games, loved talking about the
Is it because it was the only game you guys won?
Yeah, that wasn't always the case, actually. And it wasn't first down, by the way. There was 3rd and 1.
I was actually
Kim
announcing.
on the carry, almost there, and it looks like no gain on the play brings up 4th and 1 here for the Trojans.
I actually announced the Gun homecoming game this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we covered it. It was actually a really good game. And,
here on
Gun
the
won.
Palo Alto Media Center?
Yeah,
We
Gun
broadcast
won.
that game?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I was actually by myself. It was
When was that?
daunting. It's about a month ago now.
They had homecoming a month ago? Huh. I am getting old. Well, it is 4th and short, and the Trojans will punt it away. Keyshawn Johnson back at his own 40-yard line. Ooh, a booming punt. Get out of the way if you're the Vikings. Almost hit Justin Hull. Rolls out of bounds at the 31-yard line. And that is where the Viking offense will begin with a 7-6 lead and 10:36 to go in the second quarter.
You know,
So you got to see the whole halftime spectacular. With,
Yeah, you know, it was
the
fun. There were
floats, the
cars and-
homecoming court.
Yeah. You know, it was a great night because, you know, the gun crowd. There was actually a lot of people that showed up for the game. And
Yep.
Gun won too, so it was fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
I'm still bitter that I was not a member of the homecoming court, despite many seasons where I would always narrate the homecoming court options. I always dreamed of being able to have somebody talk about me as I talked about other people, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. I'll get over it one day. As Malcolm Davis on first down, picks up 6 yards on the carry. Brings up 2nd and 4 coming up, but as I was going to mention, Eric, you were talking about the one game of the year Gun usually wins. I think it was my freshman year at Gun. They had Los Gatos as the opponent. And this is when Los Gatos was like a top 5 team. And a guy named Trent Edwards, who went on to be the quarterback at Stanford and in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills, the Raiders, is Chris under pressure. Going the wrong way. Throws it and it's caught. And they actually will get yardage out of this. Andrew Frick with the catch. How did they not bring down Christ? And how did he make a play out of it? And in the end, it's a 2-yard positive yardage pickup on the completion to Frick up to the 39-yard line and a 3rd and 2. That was impressive.
You know, that's got to be one of the most. That's got to be the best play that we've seen tonight. That was just amazing. I mean, the back pedaling ability for Kelly Christ.
He was
Moving back. And not only
he was about 15 yards behind the line.
Not only is he avoiding players, but he's also looking at his own players.
And he darts forwards on his own. Kelly Christ with a quarterback sneak, a first down, and he just keeps going. He keeps going forwards this time for positive yardage across midfield and a Viking first down into Trojan territory.
Well, you know, when you have the momentum, you got to have some fun.
Oh, and the ball was knocked loose. I didn't even notice that. And Givens alertly recovered it. That could have been terrible for the Vikings.
Oh, Keller Chris
Just
doesn't usually
another
drop the
chapter.
ball.
I tell you, I would be fascinated if every play just involved Keller Christ running. And Christ going for it all. One-on-one coverage. Cheap shot. Johnson with the catch. Touchdown, Palo Alto. 43 yards. What a throw by Keller Christ. Just beautiful.
We were talking about that big arm that he's got, too. Wow. Amazing.
Well, Keller Christ is living up to the hype here in the early going of this game.
How about that
What
throw?
a precise pass. Great catch on the other end, too, by Keyshawn Johnson. One step ahead of his Milpitas cover man. The point after is up and good. 9:18 to go in the second quarter, and the Vikings, behind Keller Christ's arm and legs, have a 14-6 lead.
And
A signature performance for the
Keyshawn
senior
Johnson's got to have
quarterback.
some really long arms because we really see him stretch himself to make that catch. An amazing effort. I mean, you wonder how they do it because the ball is flying behind them, right? So just to time that, it's amazing. Totally worth
Well,
7
part
points.
of that is just being in sync with each other, and it comes with years of being a tandem. Experience really gives you that connection where you just know,
Yeah, and you know, Trevor,
okay, Johnson's going to be this far in this amount of time.
now it's 14-6. Palo Alto has some money to play with now. They can really start.
They can breathe. They can't
breathing.
relax, but
Yeah,
now they can build that confidence. All of a sudden, they realize, hey, we have this lead. Look
Oh.
at, whoa, no.
That ball nearly knocked him out.
I think he might. I mean, I don't want to say he had a concussion there, but
Have you ever heard
literally
of
the ball hit.
Have you ever heard of an
knocked him
injury
out.
happening where the ball hits a player and causes an injury?
I don't know, but
Wonder if that's
the
ever
momentum
happened.
of that kickoff. Whoa. He had the up man there had no idea that he was going to be returning that kick. That's what I would look like if I had a kick coming at me.
Talk about surprise. Did you happen to watch yesterday's game?
The
Panthers Bucks.
No, actually, I was watching this baseball game.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, in
World
any case,
Series.
there was this one play.
Oh, look at that hit there. Trey Hartley
There
gets
was
the
this
first
one-
down for the Trojans. And
There
he
was
got
this
the
one
lick
play
from
where
Malcolm
you know how in the Buccaneers Stadium they have cannons going off.
Yeah.
The cannon just goes off randomly, and Cam Newton just jumps. He jumps, and the camera's on.
Wait,
It's
was he
hilarious.
under center? Or, I mean, he was
He
about
just
to
wasn't
take the snap?
expecting this big booming noise. And Cam Newton just flies off the screen. Priceless.
An inadvertent cannonball fire.
I was with some friends, and we couldn't figure out why the cannon was going off. Because generally it goes off when they score a touchdown,
Yeah.
but the cannon was just going off. Nothing was going on, and the cannon was going off.
The Bucks are winless, right? They got to
Yeah,
do
the
anything
Bucks
they
are
can
0-7,
to win games nowadays.
Yeah, they have to fire cannons.
Scare
players,
Cam
yeah.
Newton?
Didn't work though.
No, they won by like 30 points. Tough season for the Florida NFL teams, that's for sure.
Oh, well,
Here's Hartley on the carry.
Florida
Kicks
sports
to the
in
outside,
general.
a first down.
Florida sports is not been
They're
good.
not so bad in college football. Miami undefeated, Florida State undefeated. The Tampa Bay Rays made the playoffs in baseball.
Although one thing
Miami
we
Heat.
see, it seems to me like national doesn't necessarily follow college.
Yeah.
In perfect synchroncy.
First and 10 Trojans at the Viking 47-yard line. But, I mean, that brings up the point everybody always talks about. do you think those really good Florida college teams could beat like the Bucks or the Jaguars, who are probably even more of a hopeless cause?
No, when people tell me about that, I say no, because the thing is with an NFL team, the NFL teams, the defenses are huge. They would crush those guys. They would crush those guys. I would say even take Alabama against the Jags. The Jags would still win by at least 14.
I agree. But I know all of those ESPN talking heads and the pundits love talking about that.
The Alabama fans probably disagree with me.
It's just such a different game. As look out, breaking free, Savion Black. He already has one touchdown tonight. And caught finally at the 20-yard line by Tully McAllister. Otherwise, he was off to the races.
I thought Squally Canada would play the biggest role in this game, but actually, it looks like Savion Black is really dominating the running game. That was a great play.
He's playing inspired football against his former team.
And also something that I have noticed is it looks like now we have wide receivers.
Well, they are adapted. They have decided to be a more normal team. They still go with that wing tee as Reed off his back foot throws for the end zone, and it's broken up by Malcolm Davis. Intended there.
Malcolm Davis almost
Trey Hartley. Hartley wanted the flag. That looked like a clean, very nice play there by the cover man Davis.
I think Malcolm Davis was trying to catch it. He had his hands out looking for an interception. He almost got it too.
And the throw was underthrown as well there by Reed. Looked like he was throwing off his back foot. Hand off to the up man, and paving his way up the middle. That is close to a Milpitas first down on 3rd and 10. Royce Kim on the carry. I don't know if he got it though. No, he's actually a couple yards short. About 3rd and 3 coming up from the 13-yard line. Almost looks like the quarterback Reed is limping a little bit. He was just over at the sideline getting the play call from Kelly King, now back under center. With 3 backs behind him, no tight ends, Paly jumps. The question is, did the Trojans cause them to jump early, or will the penalty go against the Viking defensive line?
You can make mistakes in football, but when you make mistakes in the red zone, that's going to cost you.
And there's your mistake in the red zone committed by the Viking defense. A gift to Milpitas. First down coming up for the Trojans. 1st and goal, too. From the 9-yard line, Reed under center. And the handoff goes to Black. Gain of about 2 or 3 on the carry.
I just wanted to take a moment to point out, I really like how the players are adopting the breast cancer month. See a lot of players, they got pink on their legs. It's fun. Add some flavor to the uniform.
Absolutely, and all for a tremendous cause. October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You see the socks of the Milpitas players, some of the shoelaces on the Paly players. And on the carry, nearing the goal line there, Canada is going to be marked just shy of the goal line. Squally thought he had the touchdown. He is in disbelief. But the side judge is staying put there at about the half-yard line. You see him there. He will not let Squally Canada sway him.
It's a close decision call, but at the same time, the way this team has been running the ball, they have 2 more tries with 1 yard. Something to think about.
And now on this 3rd down and goal, Milpitas will have to wait a few moments as Paly uses their first timeout. 5:34 left here in the first quarter. We did want to mention that there is no scoreboard on our broadcast tonight. That graphic feature is out of commission. It decided to take the night off. So we will try to update you on the score and give you updates as often as possible as if this were a radio broadcast. And also we'll show you images like we just did a few moments ago by great cameramen like that gentleman right there of the scoreboard here at Hodway Field. That is a heavy camera. I could not hold that. 3rd and goal, Milpitas from the half-yard line.
Got to have some respect for our cameraman.
Oh, my goodness.
Holding up our
Immense
cameras
respect.
for 4 quarters.
Not an easy task. They love what they do, and they are tremendous at what they do. 3rd and goal. Reed on the quarterback keeper, kind of being pushed from behind. He scores the Trojan touchdown with a little bit of help by Royce Kim, one of his running backs, too. Doesn't look like anybody on the Vikings sideline noticed that. Look on the replay, though. Looked like a little bit of a push, and I'm sensitive to that from the Patriots-Jets game last Sunday.
Patriots-Jets game, oh boy. That's something to talk about, right?
Speaking of our cameramen, Kunal Singh and I, both avid Patriots fans, and they lost the game because of a terrible call with apparently one of the Patriots pushing another Patriot for assistance in trying to block a field goal. And the 2-point conversion is no good by the Trojans. Having issues trying to get 2-point conversions, trying to get extra points. And all of a sudden, instead of multiples of 7s or 8s, they're only getting multiples of 6.
You know, the crowd is really on their feet now. We got a lot of people standing up, getting interested in this game because, you know, now it's just a field goal away.
The student section.
Just a field goal away from changing.
14-12. Palo Alto with the lead. 5:30 to go before halftime. They're also on their feet because they know that the big homecoming float competition is coming up soon, and that can be a big decider.
Right,
I don't know what the point totals are for Spirit Week. Generally, the seniors are ahead.
No, they're doing togas again.
Actually, I'm told that the sophomores are ahead going into tonight, so that would be the class of 2016. Wow, 2016. My, how time flies.
Oh, yeah. Just the fact that it's almost November, man.
I know. Well, Halloween next week. I don't even have a costume.
You know, I got to tell you, Trevor, this is like my favorite time of year. You got basketball that's about to start. You know, football is days in. You know, it's getting competitive.
So World
it's not too
Series.
cold yet. World Series, yeah. It's a great season for sports, isn't it?
Absolutely. I just wish I could be more into the NBA. Just not a big fan. Milpitas kickoff very short. And here comes Keyshawn Johnson. Great field position for the Vikings out across the 40 to the 47-yard line of Palo Alto. And with 5:23 before halftime, Vikings will start with their best field position of the half.
Vikings are up by 2, 14-12.
And Keller Chris trying to build on that lead. He has had a phenomenal season earlier tonight with his 17th touchdown pass of the night. Keyshawn Johnson, really a quintessential Chris pass. Nowhere to go. Look at that. Swarming defense by the Trojans on the first down carry by Malcolm Davis. Drops him for a loss of 2 back to the 44.
I'm going to actually take back something I said in the beginning of the game. I think now Palo Alto, since they've had so much success throwing, I think they should continue throwing. That was a monster touchdown. A monster touchdown. And honestly, the players, they almost made it look easy. I think they should keep on throwing it and see what happens because I don't think the safeties, Milpitas, are doing a good job.
Only going with a 3-receiver set here, and the crossing pattern incomplete. Off the hands of the wide-open Gibbons. Now, Eli Gibbons had nobody around him. First down written all over it. But he dropped it, and now Paly faces 3rd and 12 from their own 44.
You know, something you got to do as a new player, you know, when you're a sophomore, you're not going to get very many passes, but when you do get them, you need to show the coach that you have more potential than dropping the ball, especially a throw that was not very hard to catch.
Deep drop for Krister on 3rd down. Escapes pressure at first, and now a herd of Trojans come in and wrap him up. Crest sack, and 3 and out for the Vikings. So with under 4.5 to go before halftime, the Trojans will get the ball with plenty of time to try and get the lead back before halftime. That's not at all what the Vikings were hoping for. It's Charlie Oliveira lines up in punt formation.
Now we're
And look
looking
at that
at some
punt.
nice shoes.
And really fielded on a hop here by Hartley. Hartley going across the field at the 25, 30. Watch out, he has speed and he's gone. Midfield, and there goes Trey Hartley. There's a flag way back at the Milpitas 30-yard line. And another flag thrown around the Paly 20-yard line and an injured Trojan. So it looks like this is coming back. What blazing speed there by Trey Hartley. That wasn't even close, but it looks like he had a little bit of help from an illegal block. It will be coming back.
Palo Alto is very, very lucky in the sense that I think that was just sloppy. You get out of rhythm and you let things pass, but the thing is with high school ball, when you're not necessarily at you're not necessarily in your prime, and it's harder to make tackles and get people down. When you let a running back just burst through, especially at this age, kids are fast. They can move. It's going to be a lot easier to run than to tackle. So you need to prevent basically the running back from getting into his rhythm, his sprint rhythm. Scare him.
So we actually have two penalties on the play. There were the two different calls, an illegal block on Palo Alto and personal foul on Milpitas. So the Vikings will re-punt. And Trey Hartley will have another chance to try and return.
Those fans on the other side there.
None too happy. They wanted a Hartley touchdown.
We could hear the boos from here, and we're on the other side of the field.
But that gives us the opportunity to see Trey Hartley speed again. And I don't know, if I'm Paly punter Oliveira, I might not be putting it remotely in the direction of Hartley, but it's going right to him. Except he drops the punt as a fielded on a hop and falls down at the 19-yard line. That couldn't work any better for the Vikings.
You know what that was created by, Trevor? That was created by a really great kick.
That was.
What we
that
always
was
talk,
like a 50-yard punt.
Yeah, what we always talk about in football is, the arms of the quarterback, the arms of the wide receivers. This is football, right? You use your feet as much as you use your arms in this game at times to make the crucial field goal, to make the crucial punt. And when you're able to make a kick like that, you're putting your defense in a really great situation.
And to even further pin the Trojans back inside their 10-yard line, or close to that, a holding penalty.
The coaches really need to look out for things they don't want to see. It's hard to do, but man, you got to be frustrated getting all of these penalties, especially when you're
sloppy.
down. When you're down and you could have had a touchdown, and now it's coming back, and after a fumble and then another penalty, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a coach.
And these are two above-average football teams locally. And they are committing a number of penalties that you'd expect a team more towards the lower half of the standings to be committing. Seems like there's a penalty every other play. So the Trojans are just moving themselves backwards and backwards.
I used to play a little bit of football when I was a kid, and I remember my coach would tell me the most important thing is to be intelligent.
Yep. But sometimes you just know you gotta help your return man or make that block, and that's when holding happens. Where you think, that wasn't really holding, was it? No, I didn't really block him in the back. The ref wouldn't see me.
Well, the question is, it's a thing of frustration. You get frustrated because your plays aren't working, and you try to bend the rules a little bit, and it goes against you.
So look at this. Milpitas operating out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 at their own 5.
I gotta say, this team has really not had as much success running the ball as we thought they would.
No, they are not.
They had one big run play and then another one that got brought back. Other than that, maybe at the half, they might need to start throwing the ball, especially if Palo Alto gets another touchdown.
And it's interesting that they actually go to the shotgun while pinned deep in their own territory, which is often the opposite. Teams that frequently use the shotgun will switch to kind of a more urgent, let's just move the ball forwards rather than challenge ourselves with a shotgun, where if you have an inadvertent snap or a misfire,
Yeah, and
bad
also
things could happen.
one of the things you were talking about is when you run the ball, it speeds up the game. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game simply because there won't be very much time. Especially
yeah, last year was 24-19. This year could be pretty similar.
Yes.
Trojans do have a first down now. Carry out to the 25-yard line. Vikings saying the ball is loose, but the back judge coming in saying the fumble was caused by the ground. Now on the carry by Squally Canada. Pickup of 1, or a pickup of 6 on the 26-yard line.
You know, this especially starts happening, you know, around when we get close to 9 o'clock now. It starts getting a little bit cold and the hands freeze up.
A few fumbles happen. Here's Squally Canada again on the carry.
Especially because a lot of those guys, they're not wearing gloves, so.
The first down marker. Looks like Canada did get the first down.
We got the Palo Alto train passing.
There's Caltrain. The late commuters heading south.
Now that train goes on until like 2 in the morning. It's pretty ridiculous.
And the last train, the midnight train leading San Francisco. That is not the midnight train, though. I hope we're not here broadcasting the name when that one goes by. Otherwise, that would be a lot of overtimes. They don't have overtime, do they, in high school football?
No.
So barring a rain delay, don't think we'll be here for that. 2:08 to go here in the first half.
You know what they
Trojans
also,
first and 10 of their own 37.
They also don't have, which I was surprised about this, is they don't have the 2-minute warning.
They just keep going. No. Well, the only reason they have the 2-minute warning in the NFL is for TV as Reed connects for the first down. There is Trey Hartley down to the 34-yard line.
That might have been actually one of their first big catches.
I think it is. And they've had virtually no passing game the entire first half until now. Crossing midfield, moving the chains. Trojans have 2 timeouts, they have all 3 timeouts remaining. And here's a handoff up the middle, nearing the first down to the 25-yard line on the carry for Squally Canada. Under a minute and a half to go before halftime, and the Trojans are looking sharp now offensively.
Squally Canada coming out now.
This will be a 2nd and 2 at the Viking 26-yard line. Reed operates out of the shotgun. Give is to Black. Black stutters step, first down to the 21-yard line. That will stop the clock as the chains are moved here with 1:03 to go in the half. This is where the Paly defense really tried to hang tough, and now a timeout called here by the Trojans. They don't want, even with the momentary clock stoppage, they don't want the clock to tick off any more time.
You know, this is going to be, these couple of plays coming up are going to be extremely important for Palo Alto. They've done a pretty good job, I have to say, protecting the line and making sure runs don't generate too many problems for them, and they need to continue doing that now. I think that the Trojans are going to go for a touchdown. I mean, judging by the kicking that we've seen tonight, and also this being high school football.
I was going to say,
some deep passes.
It's a dime a dozen to have a reliable kicker in high school football, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know, actually, I think the Palo Alto team, they have Keller Chris kicking because they don't even have a kicker.
1:03 to go in the first half. 1st and 10 Trojans. Shotgun formation, and they hand off up the middle. And Squally Canada continues to move the pile, and it looks like he has another first down. Gain of 11 yards down to the Paly 10-yard line.
And I'd like to remind the audience that the current score is 14 Vikings, Trojans 12.
But that might change here soon unless the Paly defense comes up with a big stop. 45 seconds and counting to go before halftime. Starting left, now Canada reversing field, and he doesn't have a lot of room to run. And he will be run out of bounds at the 9-yard line, maybe a gain of 1.
You know, that was a run that was prevented by sticking your hand and your arm out there. He was running and trying to find a hole in the defense, but they were just arms pushing him back until he was out of bounds.
That was a good second effort, at least, in the run by Canada. He didn't end up really getting anywhere, but he ran straight into a couple of the defensive linemen of the Vikings on the left side of the line.
Yeah, and you start seeing that.
Then he quickly said, okay,
you start
we're
seeing
going to
that
go the other way.
frustration, too, because I'm sure he's expecting to have a better game.
Now Reed throws, juggled, and the pass is caught at the 5-yard line. Looked like that would be dropped there by Hartley, but he hung on. And then wrapped up right afterwards at the 6-yard line, gain of 4. Both unable to stop the clock. Milpitas has to call a timeout, their second timeout of the half. And that stops the clock with 28 seconds left before halftime. And it'll be 3rd and 6 coming up at the 7-yard line. So do you run or throw here?
Well, obviously you throw, I'd say, because your success has not been where I'm sure they came in with the expectation that they were going to be able to run it a lot more, not be down. Certainly not be down at this point. I don't think you can run it with 28 seconds left.
I don't know. They might pull a surprise here. Shotgun formation with Reed.
Because the thing is you want to save your timeout, right?
Oh, they will pass. Pump fake. Reed takes it himself, and he's wrapped up at the 5-yard line. Andrew Frick was right there waiting for him. And that brings up 4th down. They got to call a timeout, or they might. I think they're going to have the clock roll down as long as possible to ensure that there's only one play remaining, and that's exactly what they'll do. The question is, do you kick it?
I think you kick it, because if you kick it, you'll be up. It'll be 15-14. It's nice to go.
It's just how confident you feel in your kicker who missed an extra point.
It's nice to go in the half with the victory in sight, and not be like, we've been making mistakes, that's why we're down. It's more like we've been making mistakes, but still we've managed to be 1 point ahead. Which is at least something. It's a game of being able to encourage your players and keep the moral up high. It's really important.
Paly has to feel pretty good about themselves making that stop.
Yeah, so we are in fact seeing a kick.
Yep, a 23-yard field goal attempt for Andrew Williams. He's got plenty of distance, but it looks like beforehand, Paly trying to ice the kicker with a timeout.
Well, that was a very good timeout right there, because that field goal was perfect. Ideal.
Now Andrew Williams is now good and warm. He knows he has the strength to kick the 22-yard field goal.
It's interesting because usually high school games, they don't really revolve around field goals. You don't see very many, but
not at all. No.
This is actually a pretty important kick, I'd say.
Well, it will determine who has the lead going into the locker room at the half. It's 14-12 at the moment in favor of Paly. The last play of the first half of what has been a very entertaining first half. Both teams not at their sharpest, but we've also seen some highlight reel plays. Probably highlighted by the touchdown from Kelly Chris to Keyshawn Johnson. Beautiful pass. Certainly one for the career highlight tape for Christ. 22-yard field goal attempt. Hold down, kick on its way, and it's blocked. It's blocked, ball is loose, and will not be returned by the Vikings, but a key block there by the Vikings special teams, and Paly will head into halftime with a 14-12 lead.
And look at
Andrew Frick. He is ecstatic. And so are the Viking faithful.
Oh yeah, we're seeing the Vikings here with big, strong legs, hands pumping up in the air, walking off, running off, I should say. Now that is how you want your first half to go when you are a team that is expected to lose by, I mean, you were talking about 20 points, right? It's 14-12 Vikings, you know, so hey, if they can keep this up, keep up this really strong defense.
Absolutely.
We're seeing a really strong defense here.
Look at that surge there, and it was Tully McAllister with the block. Keyshawn Johnson, or check that, Malcolm Davis with the recovery. So Tully McAllister with the block, and that preserves the lead for the Palo Alto Vikings. This will be a 20-minute halftime as opposed to the customary 15 minutes because of all of the cheerleader performances and the homecoming float activity as well. So we will step aside and let you enjoy all of the halftime festivities. It's homecoming night here at Palo Alto High School, and the Vikings definitely looking to get that homecoming victory. They lead 14-12 here at halftime. So we'll join you at the other end of halftime for the second half. Enjoy the homecoming halftime show, everybody. Vikings kicking off to begin the second half, leading 14-12, and hold everything, folks. we just can't get things going that quickly. Penalty marker down on the play as we welcome you back here to Honore Field on the campus of Palo Alto Senior High School. Like, Paly was offsides on the kickoff. You don't see that every day. And hope you enjoyed the homecoming festivities. Those were some very impressive floats and dancing and the lovely concert by the Palo Alto High School Marching Band. And now it's time to play football again. I'm Trevor Felch alongside Kunal Singh joining us here for the second half. Kunal is one of our cameramen, and he said, you know, it looks like so much fun like that those two guys are having. I just want to join them. So welcome aboard, Kunal, as here comes Hartley on the return. He is flipped over at the 35-yard line. Good starting field position for the opening drive of this second half from the 39-yard line. Now, Kunal, we don't have the luxury like you might get on a Monday Night Football or a Sunday Night Football of quick going through about 6 highlights to say, okay, in case you just tuned in, here's what happened in the first half. So we'll just tell you, it's 14-12. For Milpitas, it has been essentially a tale of running. And for Paly, a tale of passing, including probably what I would say, having seen a fair number of Keller Christ's game in his career, one of the most impressive touchdown passes he has had in his stellar career, 43-yarder. To fellow senior Keyshawn Johnson. It was just that vintage Keller Christ, perfect touch. Johnson had that one step on his cover man. It was exactly what we've come to expect of Keller Christ, and next year what they'll be expecting across El Camino over there at Stanford.
I mean, Chris has been great this game as he is. The offensive line has given out a little bit for Paly. A couple sacks for Chris. He's not been able to escape the pocket like he usually does, but still having a great game.
So after the 10-yard carry, first down and 10 at midfield for the Trojans. A gain of 1 yard on the carry for Savion Black. Savion Black, the former Palo Alto Viking himself. No, he didn't sign out of free agency. He wasn't traded. He simply transferred from one high school to another.
He simply transferred because his parents moved. Nothing he could do about it.
That would be my guess.
It was.
As dashing through the middle. Watch out. Squally Canada with speed inside the 20. The ball knocked loose at the end. But the officials ruled him down by contact, and then the ball came out. 30-yard dash for the first down by Squally Canada, and the Trojan offense is clicking on all cylinders.
I mean,
here in the second half.
Milpitas has been running the ball phenomenally. I mean, they've had I can only remember 3 or 4 drop back passes, and one of those turned into a QB sneak, but they're running the ball very efficiently today.
Here is Black on the carry, slowly reading his blocks and just keeps moving forwards, and nobody will stop him. He's in for the touchdown. And before you can blink, a minute 24 into the second half, the Trojans take the lead.
I mean, wow. That's all I
wait,
mean,
is it still halftime?
I mean, what was that? I mean, could have been down 10, 8-yard line. The big offensive line using their big abilities and just pushing them. That's an NFL-like play you would see. You see the centers pulling out, pushing the pile. I mean, that's great football by Milpitas right there.
Well, he was following there, and it's kind of hard to miss him. Number 77, Christian Hangana, 6'7", 330 pounds, going for the two-point conversion, rolling right. Reed's pass is intercepted by Tully McAllister. So, Kunal there now 0 for 3 in trying to get points after touchdowns. That's a whole field goal that they've just given up. This is amazing. So with 10:36 to go in the third quarter, the Trojans now have an 18-14 lead. They missed an extra point, and now they've missed back-to-back two-point conversions. This is, I don't know if I've ever seen such anemic extra point opportunities.
I mean, they've gone for 6 points, and they've got 0. I mean, what can you do about that? That's not the right percentage. They should settle for a field goal. They could have it a 7-point game, essentially a one touchdown game if they had converted the simple extra point in the end. But I mean, they haven't done that yet.
And as Milpitas kicks off here now with a 4-point lead, let us remind our viewers, or those just tuning in, that it looks like there's no wind, but the ball just decided to fall off the tee. Going into halftime, the Trojans made a 22-yard field goal attempt, but right before the ball was snapped, Coach Earl Hansen of Paly called a timeout, icing the kicker. So even though the kick was plenty good, it did not count. And so then the subsequent kick, of course, guess what happened? They missed it and went into the half trailing 14-12 instead of having a 15-14 lead. Malcolm Davis on the return, out across the 20, 30, look out, 35-40, down the near sideline midfield, dragged down by the Trojans, finally at the Milpitas 40-yard line. A very impressive return by Malcolm Davis and excellent field position for the Vikings' first drive of the second half.
This game has been truly based off big plays. You've had big runs pulled off by Milpitas. You've had the big play also working for Paly. You've had a 43-yard touchdown. You've had a lot of big runs pulled off, a lot of great special teams on both sides, except, I mean, kicking field goals and extra points. That's been the low light. That's been the low light of Milpitas' day so far.
Keller Chris breaks the huddle with backs at an eye. Davis, the deep back. Frick lined up as the fullback here on 1st and 10. A little slight fumble there in the center to quarterback exchange, and the handoff to Davis goes for no gain. 2nd and 10 coming up with 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter of what truly is a crucial game for the Palo Alto Vikings. Coming into tonight, 3 wins, 3 losses, 4 games left on the schedule. Only 1 more home game, and that is by no means an easy matchup with Los Gatos. And you're facing the top team in the division in a top 25 of the Bay Area team, the Milpitas Trojans. Keyshawn Johnson with a reception out on the far side at the 34 of Milpitas. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Vikings.
I feel what Paly needs to do, Milpitas has they have a big, just like their offensive line, they have a huge defensive line. And the run game right up the middle hasn't been working. They need to either go outside or give Kelly Chris the ball and start passing the ball a lot more. It would be much more effective than running it up the middle and trying to get it past these big guards, because there's truly no gap in the center.
No, you got to pass against them, and that's what Chris does. Here on 3rd down and 4, pass complete to Keyshawn Johnson, who is having himself quite the night. Immediately stopped by Savion Black and Monet Focchetti. But that's enough for Palo Alto, 1st down. Gain of 5 down to the 29 of Milpitas.
That's exactly what they needed to do. I mean, Palo Alto's the Vikings have mostly been passing on 3rd down when they've needed a large chunk of yards. They've been running the ball 1st and 2nd, getting 2, maybe 3 yards, and it's been all in the arm of Chris. On third down, they've had to pass on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, up to big 3rd and 10 plays and 3rd and 7 plays, just like this one. It's tough for him. He's got to make these plays, but he's not really passing in the 1st and 2nd down majority of the time in this game.
Well, this game certainly is looking a lot like last year's matchup between these two teams. It will be decided in the 4th quarter as Andrew Frick breaks free, winding his way up the middle for a 1st down, Palo Alto.
Of course, right when I say don't run the ball up the middle, go right up the middle and get a huge chunk of 18 or 20 yards right up the middle. It's a great run, off-tackle run.
Goodall, you're fired. You're not going to be my defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but talk about beautiful hold there. The left side of the line, the 18-yard gain to the 11-yard line, and a quarterback keeper running off the right end, trying to cut the corner, run out of bounds there. The quarterback, Keller Christ. Christ is becoming quite the prolific runner. If he didn't have such a good arm, he'd be a pretty good running back, you might say.
Oh, yeah, he's a big guy. He can move. I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but he's just a big, strong guy. Reminds me of big players in the NFL like Brady, but Brady he has like 10, 20 times the amount of speed that Brady has in the outside the pocket. He's a very dangerous player, Kelly Christ is.
Eric Leroy in the first half referred to him as Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, yeah.
As Frick gets the carry up the middle, inside the 5, down to about the 1-yard line area. That's very close to a 1st down.
And here's another 3rd and 5 situation. You have 2 runs, it gets 2-3 yards apiece. And now you got to put the ball in Chris' hands again and hope he can make another big play like he has each of the 3rd downs on this drive.
Actually, they just needed to get to the 1, and they got to about the 1.5. This is 3rd and inches from about the 1.5-yard line. I'm thinking quarterback sneak, and that is exactly what Chris does, following his offensive line. And then on the 2nd effort, he falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. He didn't have to go far, but initially Chris did not really. He may have had the 1st down, but he didn't have the touchdown. And then on the 2nd effort, with a little bit of assistance, he falls forwards into the end zone for the Vikings score. And Palo Alto is back in the lead.
Now, Paly is playing smart football, opts to kick the extra point, and it actually goes through, unlike Milpitas' special teams, who just can't seem to get the job done.
Fogarty's point after good. 7:31 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Paly 20, Milpitas 18. There was a penalty, and it's incidental running into the kicker on Milpitas. They may have called the play dead and that the kick actually did not count.
Maybe it was false start or offsides. If it was accidentally running into the kicker, then I believe it would have been enforced on the kickoff because Paly would have declined it, so it must have been a pre-snap penalty.
No, because Fogarty has to re-kick the point after here. Chris hold down, kick on its way. It is good. Who knows, Cadil? It might be extra points that decide this game, and obviously Palo Alto would win in that advantage. So now officially it's 21-18 Paly with 7:31 to go here in the 3rd.
I mean, the difference, seriously, it could come down to the extra
This game
points.
would be tied.
This game would be tied.
If the Trojans could kick extra points.
Or kick field goals for that matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Or there's great coaching by Paly, by Coach Hansen, and he iced the kicker missed, the crowd was roaring, and it's just great special teams by Paly all around this game. They've had great punt and kickoff returns, they've had great special teams, they've caused a miss, they've had great goal line defense in a defensive standpoint, and also on the kickoffs, forcing a couple fumbles here and there. They've been playing great defensively.
So an impressive Paly scoring drive, both teams with touchdowns to open the 2nd half. And it sort of a squib kick here by Paly. They don't even want to mess around with Trey Hartley on a return.
I mean,
Probably not the worst of decisions, knowing his speed.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that wasn't quite a squib kick. It would have gone farther, maybe ended up at the 20. I feel as if maybe they were hoping for a lucky bounce.
Cautious.
Yeah, maybe hoping for a little lucky bounce, a little bounce off the fielder's or off a returning team's foot or off the pads, or take a weird bounce and maybe recover that football, because that was very shallow at the 35-yard line. I mean, you want to kick it farther if it's a squib, especially if it's a squib kick.
That's the result of when you don't really know if you want to do an onside kick or not.
It's kind of right in the middle. You just don't know what you want to do, and so you call the play right in the middle. You kick the onside to the 35, not quite a squib, but not quite an onside either.
But then you also end up giving Milpitas pretty decent field position. They have a 2nd and 4 at their own 40.
I mean,
And
that's
seeing how Milpitas marched downfield
exactly.
in that opening drive, you don't want to give them anything. Out of the shotgun on 2nd and 4, draw play, and that's a first down up the middle for Squally Canada. Canada having himself a dandy of a night.
what Milpitas has been doing great is they've had running backs coming through, and in the second half, they've lined up a running back and a quarterback more in a shotgun formation. In the first half, they lined up in a very tight, almost a kneel, a winning formation, they call it. And they would run the running backs right there. And now they're having running backs come way like 6 or 7 yards out, get that burst of speed.
Now Reed on the play action, going deep down the right sideline, incomplete. Hartley looking for the flag. That looked like great coverage to me by Malcolm Davis. Seems, I mean, Hartley is a terrific receiver, but it seems like he just figures it has to be pass interference if he doesn't make the catch.
I mean,
every time he has been looking for a flag.
The cornerback, Malcolm Davis, I mean, he was with him stride for stride. I mean, that's just great defense. I mean, that was also a great throw. He put it right where he needed to, just a little far, but it was a great spiral, great velocity, too. The quarterback can throw, but their running game is just too good. Oh, my. That was a very odd play.
Yeah.
Snapped the ball. It looked like it might have been a direct snap, and he was coming across, and he put his hand out. Maybe he didn't want that ball to get snapped to the quarterback. I don't know. That was just very confusing play right there.
Well, Squally Canada there on the carry. And he ends up getting 3 yards on the play before Connor Shield brings him down. I'm still a little miffed by whatever happened there, and it's 3rd and 7. Now Reed back to pass, throws over the middle, deflected in the air, and it falls incomplete. Frick broke the pass up, and it almost was intercepted. A host of green and white jerseys around there. Hartley the intended receiver, but really it looked like Frick was who he was throwing to. And a big defensive stop there by the Vikings.
Yeah, a lot of times when that happens, I mean, it wasn't the best throw, honestly. It was almost triple coverage. You had a linebacker, you had a cornerback, then you had safety help over the top. That could have easily been an interception for Paly there. Milpitas is very lucky they didn't have that a pick or even a pick six.
Andrew Williams to punt away, and Keyshawn Johnson to receive. For the Vikings, Johnson says, I'll just let it land, and it takes a very favorable Trojan bounce inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line before down by Mikey Saby. So with 5:46 to go in the third quarter, the Vikings clinging to a 21-18 lead. They have the ball, but not in the greatest of field position. On a beautiful Friday night. It's homecoming night.
It is indeed.
Now, if Cadillo is a gun titan, you had homecoming, I was told, like a month ago?
We did.
That's really early. This is about the right time.
This is about the right time. Everyone's settled into school. They know people. They know everything. But this is, I think, the perfect time. I think last year for Gun, this was around the time they had it also. But Gun had it extremely early this year. And I don't know. I mean, I think it was based off the football game. I think the only team they thought they could beat
you want a winning game.
Exactly. The only team they thought they could beat was Prospect, and I think that's the only win they've actually had this year in the homecoming game, in like a late last-second win for Gun. So, I mean, I guess they chose the game well, but also they chose it very early.
Yeah, I remember homecoming always being around now, late late October. It would kind of be the real dress-up period. Play action, Chris, pass complete near side. Malcolm Davis breaks it, tackle, first down and more. Out across the 25 to the 28-yard line before being brought down by Monet Fouquetti. First down Vikings to the 28-yard line of Paly. But it's the dress-up time. You dress up for all the activities.
The Spirit Days.
The Spirit Week, and then you have Halloween.
Truly, I think it's the best week of the year.
I agree.
No, it's so fun. It's so competitive.
And I think it's more fun over at Gunn than it is at Paly. I think Gunn gets more into it.
They have at Paly here, they have a Spirit Week. We have like a homecoming week. We've got games each brunch, each lunch. It's a very intense, honestly. Everyone participates as you go through the years and get older. You see more and more kids that you wouldn't normally see participate. And I mean, I know me and my friends, we went to Target the week before homecoming, and we got all our clothes, all our gear, all of our green. That was the color we had. All of our green head paint, spray painted our hair. We really went all out, and we had lots of fun. Besides all the tests our teachers love to give us during homecoming week.
Which is true, and I remember talking with one of my teachers about that. We had a math test on the homecoming Friday, the day after the night rally, which almost, you just can't do that, can you? Hand off to Malcolm Davis, dropped for a loss in the backfield, back at the 38-yard line, loss of 3. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, 21-18 Paly. I'd say one of my best memories of the many memories I had in high school was as the host of the night rally. And I emerged out in my entrance. I took a play out of the playbook of like Saturday Night Live or something. So the cheerleaders formed a circle around me. And nobody knew as we walked out to the center of the basketball court where they hold the night rally there in the Robert A. Bowe Gymnasium at Gunn. And then we kind of had a little choreographed dance, and then all the cheerleaders bent down or kind of kneeled down, and I emerged sort of like the Mr. President wedding cake.
Yeah. A little Shaquille O'Neal in the All-Star game a couple years ago with the what's it called?
He wore the mask.
He wore the mask at Milwaukee.
He was like a mime.
Yeah, it was a great show, great performance. I mean, you can't go wrong with that stunter act. Someone in the middle, little cheerleaders on the outside, a little man on the inside. It's a great to watch, fun to see, and it's very surprising if you don't know what's coming. It's really a great act.
And then I tried to loosen up the crowd, channel my inner Billy Crystal hosting the Oscars, crack some jokes. And, during the night rally, it's tense.
It's very tense. I mean, that's
the freshmen are nervous. The seniors and juniors can't really look at each other because they know it's going to be competitive. Christ under pressure, and he will get yardage and more. Look at him with the stiff arms saying, get out of my way. About a yard shy of the first down. Keller Chris showing some speed and a dash of attitude to go with it.
I mean, he just took one arm. Defender was coming full steam, and he's just like, no, just get out of my way. That was just, didn't even look like he cared a lot. Frankly, he just stuck his arm out, and boom, the defender was down. That's sheer strength right there.
I won't exactly say Keller Christ really is emerging on the stage tonight. That's obviously, he's on the highest of stages in high school football right now. But this might be the best all-around performance that I've seen of him. Certainly of the 3 games I've seen of him this year. Throwing off his back foot, looking for Malcolm Davis, and overthrows his intended receiver by a couple of yards.
What Keller Chris has been doing almost unreal tonight is when his receivers, when they're coming with hook patterns or short little out routes, the timing has been phenomenal. Every time they run the out route, the ball is in the air when the wide receiver turns around, and it hits them right there. The timing routes for them have been absolutely perfect tonight. And, I mean, I've only seen him miss 1, maybe 2 passes the whole night just on those, and some of them were deflections and whatnot. I mean, those have been the go-to plays for Paly today.
Well, it's 4th and 1. Paly going forward at midfield. Checking into the game, Marcus Brown is the running back. They give us to the fullback, Frick, and he has a first down and more. Bouncing outside, inside the 40. Tripped up at the 35-yard line. But on 4th and 1, a pickup of 15, more than enough for the Viking first down.
That is, I can't emphasize how great of a play call it is. The last 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they've ran the ball up the middle. Chris has gone on a quick bootleg, and also Chris has two or three times they've gone right up the middle, and they've tried to run the ball quickly. And I mean, it's been amazing. That's a great play call, trying to bounce outside. I mean, great play call.
And the quick drop and a hitch route pass is caught, then immediately wrapped up after a gain of only about 2 there for Givens as he fell on his knee and was touched down by Dwayne Jones.
I mean, Givens was last week, I believe it was, last week in Paly's game against Wilcox. He was the big target, 2 big plays, 2 huge plays. I mean, I feel like they were both over 50 yards at least. 2 huge plays for 2 huge touchdowns. He was emerging as the star, but I feel like Chris, just like Peyton Manning, has targets all around. I mean, he's got 2, 3 great wide receivers, all fast, quick, all have great hands. I mean, he's got talent surrounding him, great running backs. Everything's going well for him right now.
Yes, everything is clicking in. They hand off to Frick. Keeps the feet moving. Brought down by Will Demorius. And that will bring up a 3rd down. Well, the running game hasn't been too bad. Doing better than the average this season. This season, they've been averaging only 111 yards on the ground per game.
Yeah, they've bounced outside on a couple plays. They've had a couple big plays, but they've also had their fair shares of getting stopped quickly, getting stops for losses, and it's been all Chris on 3rd down this game.
3rd and 6 from the 32 of Milpitas. Play action, pass over the middle. It is caught. Tully McAllister holds on to the pass for the Viking first down, moving the chains in Trojan territory.
There's another one of Chris' huge weapons, Tully McAllister, the tight end. Just a great play in general. A quick little button route, and he was right there when Chris needed him.
Yeah, that was a big conversion. Now knocking on the door of the red zone. By the way, I believe this is Malcolm Davis being stretched out on the Paly sideline. Looks like he might have a cramp of some sort, but he is not on the field right now.
I believe that is why he settled for Tully McAllister. Usually he would have Chris. Chris would have Eli Givens, Davis, and
here he comes.
Oh yeah, and
Davis
Johnson
has been stretched out, puts the helmet on, and before you can blink, he's out on the field.
That's what he needed. That's both I feel like Johnson's the big one receiver, and once you take him away, you've got Davis and Givens, who are huge, a big part of this team. They've both had big plays on both sides of the ball, and those have been the keys in the game right now.
Davis there, the back split to the right under pressure, rolling way back there. Chris heaves it for the end zone. Mediocre distance Hail Mary of sorts. Incomplete. That never really had a chance. I think everybody didn't realize they were already out of bounds when they were leaping for the ball.
Yeah, it was thrown into the back corner. Not the best place you want to throw a Hail Mary. You want to throw it more towards the center to give them a chance to play it off the tip. I mean, I know I have a friend whenever we play football. He's a short kid, about 5'3", 5'4" now. And anytime the ball's in the air, even if it's one-on-one man coverage, he'll stand behind him and wait for the tip. And I mean, it works a lot. Honestly, it's a great technique. Not everyone can catch the ball, and so tips are huge.
Well, the fumble on the snap. Chris trying to recover it, and he does.
That's a loss of a couple.
That will make sure this is a 4th and forever, though, coming up.
I believe that's a 4th and 20-something, maybe 24. The clock's going to run down, and it will be the end of the 3rd quarter after.
Yeah, promising drive for Palo Alto, but not looking very promising now on 4th down and quite a lot.
They went from possibly in field goal range, ball on the 15-yard line. I mean, you could have attempted a 30-yarder. They were definitely in, I don't know about high school field goal range, definitely NFL, but.
Palo Alto 21, Milpitas 18 after 3 quarters of play, and all we can ask for on television, make it decided in the 4th quarter. And that's what will be the case tonight here at Andre Field. We do apologize for some of the technical difficulties for tonight. We will correct those in time for our next broadcast, which is Palo Alto Volleyball, coming up on Thursday night, Halloween night. I'll be dressing up as John Madden for that.
John Madden.
Some broadcaster.
Couldn't get a better costume, honestly. You got a video game named after you. That's a great costume. Great costume.
I can only do that, though, if we somehow incorporate the telestrator into the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that would be fun. You and I would have just a grand old time drawing the X's and O's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is really what Keller Christ was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, we can draw the X's and O's in our head, but not everyone would know what we were talking about. I mean, if we had that little board, we could draw everything. We could show you guys really what's happening in this game, the inside, the outside of this game. And they're going for it on 4th and 21.
They are, and Keller Christ heaves it up, and that isn't even close. And looking for Keyshawn Johnson. Dwayne Jones was step for step with him, and so what looked like a very auspicious Palo Alto drive turned into no scoring whatsoever. And so Milpitas now, with a 21-18 deficit, will take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line.
I'm very, very surprised by that call, and I think
if you were Earl Hansen, you would have probably punted and
I
tried
would
to
have
pin
punted
Milpitas
because,
deep.
yeah, the punter's kick, I mean, you would have been at the 45-yard line. Punter's kick about 40 yards in high school. You could have pinned him down on the 5. You've got quick guys on the wings, and I think you would definitely be down there, and you could have pinned him down easily.
Well, instead, beginning at their own 34-yard line, here come the Trojans and Milpitas. Handoff on 1st down to Squally Canada. Canada across the 40, picks up 7 to the 41-yard line. I'm Trevor Felch alongside Kunal Singh and our entire Palo Alto Media Center crew here at Andre Field. Glad you could be with us on this Friday night, the final Friday of October, if you can believe that. 2nd down, shotgun for Reed. Pass is complete. Right side, Hartley, and he is dangerous. Watch out, 30, 20, 10, and all the way down to the Palo Alto 5-yard line.
I mean, that all started. I mean, they would have just had the pass. They had 3 defenders around there, but, I mean, they picked up a huge block from the wide receiver. If you can check out the replay here, you can see a huge block from number 27, the kicker. And, I mean, he definitely, I mean, kicker, that's a great block. And, honestly, that's what got him the extra 15, 20 yards on the play. The kicker reminds me of Eddie Lacy, the running back for the Packers. He's got the dreadlocks, wears number 27 in that old retro Packers jersey.
And almost untouched, Squally Canada walks into the end zone for the Milpitas touchdown. And the Trojans have the lead back.
I mean, that's too easy. Paly's run defense has not been too hard tonight. I mean, that was too easy. Walked it off like it's nothing. It's just another run for them. And I mean, that's great execution by them. And now they're actually attempting an extra point, believe it or not, because
they are 0 for 3 going into this.
They are. It is 24-21.
Andrew Williams.
And they need 1 point to.
And this is the real drama. That looks perfect.
No
Except
good.
Wide.
I think it just hooked left.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness.
Had plenty of foot.
I think they need a new kicker. Put him permanently on wide receiver and get a new kicker. That is 0 for 4. He was untouched also.
This is incredible, Kunal. I mean,
I've never
have
seen
you ever seen a team 0 for 4 and trying to get an extra point?
They would be
unbelievable.
They would be up by more than a touchdown right now if they had made all their field goals. To give them 3 points, that's 27.
Yeah, instead all the Vikings need to tie it is a field goal. That's how far the Trojans have fallen.
Yeah, I think they've scored 4 touchdowns this game, and it feels like they have 3 and a field goal. It's a huge difference. If they had made the field goal, it would be 27, and you give them 4 extra points. That's 31 points, and they've got a 10-point lead. Right now, you're looking at a field goal lead, a touchdown. Paly takes the lead. That's huge.
Williams to kick off. He's been doing very well in the kickoffs, and he shows great distance in the field goal attempts. Here's his squib kick, recovered early by Charlie Oliveira. Speaking of, we saw some nice blocks by the Milpitas kicker. That was a nice catch by one of the Paly kickers, Oliveira, on the return. So good field position here for the Vikings. And they're only down by 3. By no means is this game close to over. So
I mean,
first and 10,
yeah,
Keller Kristen Paly at the Viking 37.
I mean, all Paly needs to do is to do what they've been doing. Put the ball in the hands of Kelly Chris, maybe run the ball the first 2 downs and hope Chris can get you through there, because that's all they've been doing, and it's been working for a majority of the game.
Nowhere to go for Marcus Brown on the first down carry. 24-21 Milpitas, 10:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. You know, I was talking earlier how the Vikings are averaging only 111 rushing yards this season compared to 243 coming into the game receiving yards.
Yeah.
Just to give you a comparison to last season, as Chris passes wide of the intended target, Tilly McAllister, and just like that, it's 3rd and 10. Last year alone, Matt Tolbert, their star senior running back, averaged 105 yards per game.
Yep, almost just
So,
6 yards less than the whole team
almost-
rushes for this year. That's a huge
It's
loss.
remarkable.
I mean, if you look at the amount of yards Milpitas has run the ball this year, this game, practically everything has been on the ground. They've had maybe 2 or 3 passes that have been completed. One that went for a big gain, but everything's been on the ground.
And Chris is going the wrong way.
That,
Sacked way back at the 20-yard line, a loss of over 15, and it's 4th down.
This is the one thing I feel that Chris needs to improve the most on. I mean, you can't use the excuse. Well, you can to an extent that your offensive line isn't the best, but what Chris does is what'll happen is he'll roll out, and then he'll go in a circle. He'll take a nice 180-degree turn, and he'll go the other way, but it's not a sharp turn. He goes out wide for another 7 yards, and I mean, what
That
can you
was
do
almost
about
blocked.
that? Yeah.
Well, Milpitas will get really good field position. They almost had a touchdown there on that blocked punt attempt by David. No, we don't have a number 88 on their roster. Nonetheless, that could have been terrible for Paly, but the Trojans really can make this almost out of reach of the Vikings with a nice long scoring drive here.
I mean, this game, I feel, has almost been, it's going to be decided off special teams. I mean, you had a run back for Milpitas, which is not counted. That's huge. You've had Milpitas miss a field goal and 3 extra points. That's huge. I mean, it's going to be special teams in the end.
Reed starts off under center with 3 backs. Handoff to Savion Black. Picks up 2 yards to the 45-yard line. I think we'll be seeing a little bit more rushing here from the Trojans. Exactly.
And they're going back to this shore running formation. The shore running formation gets them 3 yards almost at least every carry.
Guaranteed,
They line up with 3 big running backs in the back. Quarterback sets one in motion, and I mean, it's hard to defend. It really is with their huge offensive line, big quarterback, big, fast, strong running backs. It's very hard to defend for them.
Now you can tell they are in no hurry to get the snaps off either. Hand off to the up back, and there's those guaranteed 3 to 5 yards, pushing the pile forwards to midfield.
That
between
carry,
the P and the A.
That carry should be a 2-yard gain, if that, at most. But they're huge offensive line.
They are massive.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And Tennille, if you just look at the height and weight comparisons of the two teams, there are some guys who are 6'7", 330 pounds on
you've
that
got
roster.
6'3", 340, 6'1", 310. These are huge players here.
Well, 3rd and 4, they're going to rush to the outside, and this is close. And the last effort there might have pushed Squally Canada beyond the first down marker. A little assistance there from one of his offensive linemen. That's close, though. Very, very close. think,
mean,
was that Tilly McAllister who met him right by the 47-yard line?
I believe
Looks
it
like
was.
we'll have a measurement.
They're going to call for the chains. I mean, you can never be too sure in this game. You got to always call for the chains, but I believe that second effort did get them the first down.
It's close, but I agree. I think he has it by about a half a yard.
Half a yard sounds about right.
7:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Milpitas 24, Palo Alto 21. This is a crucial game for the Vikings coming into tonight. They are 3-3.
And if you look at the roster, the sizes of the players, Paly has one player 280 pounds and over. They have one player that's exactly 280 pounds. And just looking down this roster, I see 330, 300, 340, 260. I mean, you've got some huge players on this team, and that's why their run game is so effective.
The measurement does indicate it's a first down, Milpitas. So that's, 2-3 more minutes right there of the clock that the Trojans will be able to chew up. Last year's Milpitas victory, which also was here at Palo Alto. Strange that they're having back-to-back seasons here at Paly.
Yeah.
But the Trojans have 24 points right now. They won that game last year, 24-19.
Almost identical.
I just love it. I love these similarities. But the Trojans are hoping to score more than 24 as they hope to keep the clock winding down on this Viking team. And if Paly is unable to come back, boy, will they have a lot of second guessing and saying what ifs and squandering opportunities and, these extra point gifts given to them.
Not being able to capitalize on
I'm sure we have some new viewers who are looking at that scoreboard saying, oh, 24. So Milpitas probably got 3 touchdowns and a field goal. No,
exactly.
4 touchdowns, and they missed every one of those 4 extra points. 2 point after kick attempts and 2 2-point conversion attempts.
Not to mention a missed field goal from about 30, 32 yards out. I mean, first time he made it, second time he was iced on the first time, second time it was blocked. I mean, what timeouts can do for you in football, it's endless possibilities.
It is. Well, Paly has a big third down opportunity here to try and make a stop. 3rd and 5 Trojans, ball at the 42-yard line of Palo Alto. Quarterback Ronnie Reed will operate under center. Now a flag down on the play. This might be a false start against Milpitas. Either way, it's going against the Trojans, I think.
All their players backing up. It's got to be against them.
Indeed, it is a false start penalty. So now you face a 3rd and 10. You think Milpitas will elect to pass? They haven't even been considering throwing the ball on the past few plays.
Maybe they'll.
But now they might have to.
Yep, maybe they'll take a shot at 3rd and 10.
The 4 receivers set. 2 split wide to each side. Reed out of the shotgun. The lone back is Canada to Reed's right.
On these long thirds down, they have thrown the ball, and it's been quite effective. The secondary of Paly hasn't been able to stop them.
No, it's a draw play. Canada up the middle, and he will not get the first down.
I mean, no, the only reason I can think about them running the ball is being scared of an incomplete pass. The quarterback, if he hasn't completed a pass, it's always been incomplete. There's been no deflections, nothing, no interceptions, nothing. So, I mean, if it was an incomplete pass, then the clock would have stopped, and now they can chew up about another 30, 40 seconds on the clock.
Mike Granty with the initial stop there for the Vikings. A big stop, too, and here you go. 4th down and 6. Trojans will punt it away. Andrew Williams in punt formation. From his own 46-yard line, fair catch called for. Keyshawn Johnson gets out of the way and lets it take a very favorable Milpitas bounce, and it will go all the way down to the 5-yard line. Challenging field position for Keller Christ and the Viking offense.
Their punts, I mean, special teams again, if you see them, all the balls are just rolling down inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line. It's been great, honestly. They've had the rules this game. I mean,
They have,
they haven't
definitely.
quite had the field goal. They haven't had the goalpost on their side, but they've had the field, the turf on their side.
So here we are, 5:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Milpitas leads Palo Alto 24-21. The Vikings starting deep in their own territory. A field goal could tie it, a touchdown could get the lead and possibly win it. On first down, Chris rolling right, buying time, throws, intercepted. Intercepted by Dwayne Jones of Milpitas, and he returns it back to the Palo Alto 13-yard line. A dagger to the Vikings.
That's huge, but it's not. It's big, but it's not huge. I'll say it that way. If Milpitas can't punch in the ball, I do not think their field goal unit can make it. I mean, if you look at it, you could have 2 minutes left, get the ball back after a missed field goal, march right down the field. You've got 2 timeouts. Chris could nail the field. I mean, kicker Fogarty could nail the field goal. The game would be tied up. You're going into overtime on homecoming night with the home crowd behind your back, and I think they could definitely pull that off.
We're really looking into the future there.
I am. It's a little
in the
prediction.
present right now,
Yeah.
the Palo Alto faithful are shocked over a Keller Christ interception in a situation like that.
Look
The
at that.
First down carry, Squally Canada dragged out of bounds.
That is a mistake, getting out of bounds. You
Yeah,
could've-
no, you can't do that
I
if
mean,
you're
that's
Milpitas.
such a risky move. I mean, not risky, but just flat out bad move. I mean, 20, 30 seconds extra off the clock is now stopped. The clock is stopped with 4:50, and it could be 4:30, 4:20 when you're running that next play. But nope, went out of bounds too quick.
And only a pickup of 2 on the play now. Second down and 8. Ball at the 12-yard line. They're going to make sure they're not running out of bounds there as Savion Black runs up the middle. Handful of yards there on the gain. Stopped by Palo Alto's Chioke Bryant Anderson. 3rd and 6, and as Video was saying, big 3rd down stop here. 3rd and 7 on the Paly defense. That could set up a field goal opportunity if Milpitas would even try. And that's totally up for discussion. I don't know if they would. We'll see. It's not over yet.
It's definitely not over yet. Now they're just getting into formation as late as possible and running the ball.
And a fumble on the handoff to Squally Canada. And of course, that type of thing could happen. You never can forecast that. It does appear Milpitas recovered it. Yep, recovered by the Trojans. Boy, that could have been really entertaining.
And now what do you
Paly
do?
recovered that. Yes,
Now it's a
now it's
decision.
decision time.
Do you run the ball with 7 yards to go and give Paly the ball back with, say,
Well, let's
2
see
minutes,
if it's a
50
field goal,
seconds left.
and now Paly will call a timeout to let Milpitas ponder over this decision a little longer. Well, so the ball is at the 11-yard line of Paly. It's 4th and 7.
It's about a 20, 27, 30-yard field goal from here.
Yeah, I'd say about 28, 29. You've got a kicker who hasn't even made an extra point in this game.
He has made a field goal, but it did not count.
Yes.
It was iced. Maybe you see if they bring out the field
But
goal
even
unit,
if
you
you
try to
make
ice
a
it again.
field goal, then yes, you're up by 6, but a touchdown still could win it for Paly.
Oh, yeah.
I'd go for it here.
I would.
I
I
would
would
go
run
for
the
it.
ball right up the middle like they have been all game. Maybe get a push
Yeah, now,
from the
I wouldn't have
offensive
enough.
line.
I would have enough faith that we can overpower the Paly offense and
Oh,
just keep driving forwards, at least for the first down, or at this point,
And
maybe
also,
even more.
yeah, this deep in Paly's territory, you're gonna have to pull together a great drive at the end of the game if they even want to pull this off and get in field goal range. So this is a huge play right here.
3:31 to go in the fourth quarter. 4th down and 7 from the 11-yard line of Paly. Reed operates out of the shotgun. Motion from right to left. There's a flag down. Reed retakes the snap. We'll hear what the officials have to say.
Believe
Was
that.
it movement?
I think it was. No, I don't think it was movement. If it was a movement, I think it was an illegal man in motion, or the man didn't set. He came out of the backfield, and I think they snapped the ball too
Or
early.
illegal
yeah.
substitution.
Is that, yeah,
is
something
the
like that.
call.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't see anyone jump.
Well, I don't, despite the 5 more yards back for Milpitas, I don't think this will affect their decision to go for it or not.
Yeah.
It now brings up 4th and 11 from the 16-yard line.
And I believe the clock should start running. They should have had a, no, that's only under 2 minutes. They have a 10-second runoff.
Yep, 3:29 to go. Out of the shotgun, Reed looks left, throws left. One-on-one coverage, up in the air. It's a jump ball. It's either an interception for a touchback or a touchdown. And it is indeed an interception. Picked off by Palo Alto's Sversky Oliver in the end zone for a touchback. Either way, it's a turnover on downs. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 20. Look at that jump ball. It could have been a touchdown as much as an interception. But Oliver Sversky takes it away from the Milpitas receiver.
That reminded me just of the Seahawks-Packers game, that last Hail Mary. Put the ball up. It's a 50-50 shot from the ref. I mean, it could have gone either way, honestly. That was a jump ball. They both had the hand on the ball, but I do believe it was Paly's ball. The defender had the ball on it.
As you know, just like in that Seahawks-Packers case, when in doubt, call goes to the home team. 1st and 10 of the 20. Chris drops back, throws near side, and the throw is short, but Johnson comes back and makes the catch. One official, though, is saying the ball hit the ground and overrules the other receiver, and another official saying, no, the ball hit the ground. Earl Hansen is livid over there, saying, you've got to be kidding me. Well, the call on the field is an incomplete pass.
I mean, that's a tough break if one. That's why in the NFL you have a challenge flag, and that's the time you would pull that challenge flag. But that's just a tough call. But at least the clock stops.
We are the only people in the house who have the luxury of replay here.
That's true.
So
no jumbotron.
We'll take a look. We're the only ones who can know if it was correct or not. We'll get a replay here in a few moments probably. Now a flag down. Prior to the snap, did one of the Trojans jump off sides?
I believe that was number 56, Tavita Musica, or Mone Fokiti.
Indeed, the call goes against the Trojan defense. Not something they can do here. It's crunch time. It is gift wrapping 5 yards for the Vikings. 3:16 to go in the 4th. Now 2nd and 5, Paly. 5-step drop for Christ and connects 1st down. Out across the 30 to the 36-yard line. That's Justin Hull. 1st down, Palo Alto. And they're moving the chains. Hurry up offense here for the Vikings. Trailing by 3, 24-21 Milpitas. Quick drop for Christ, and the pass is caught to Eli Gibbons. And Gibbons looks like he might be shaken up after being brought down at the 1st down. He's sort of feeling his lower back area. May have had a helmet to that area. We'll see on the replay. Boy, on that pass looked like Christ almost tripped himself.
Oh yeah, I mean these Paly defenders have been getting popped all day by
First back to pass. Pass is complete to Keyshawn Johnson, coming back towards Chris on the near side. Gain of 8 to the Milpitas 44-yard line.
And the ref
8-yard gain.
The ref did say he did get out of bounds, so
I think it's just for the ball placement. Now the clock starts again inside 2:40 to go. Paly only has 1 timeout remaining. Milpitas has all 3. Keep that in mind. And on 2nd and 2, back goes Chris. In the rush, rolling right, throws off his back foot, has a man, overthrows. Eli Gibbons looking downfield and man-to-man coverage with Dwayne Jones. And that will bring up a 3rd and 1 at the 43 with 2:26 left in the 4th.
Paly still has 2 minutes and 26 seconds of clock to burn. I feel like on the 2nd and 1, they could have surprised the defense with a quick run play and burned some more clock. I feel like that would have been the smarter approach to it with 2:26 and a timeout left, but can never be sure with the clock.
Well, they line up here with a 3 receivers set and 1 back in Frick. Deep drop for Chris. Here comes the blitz. Pass is caught by Frick, but for a loss, and then he breaks free. First down and more down the sideline. Inside the 10, 5. Touchdown.
Unreal.
5.
That is so good.
And the Vikings have the lead.
You check out the replay here. Great little screenplay, but they read the screenplay beautifully. How did he get out of that?
Not get brought down there by Colt Poffenbarger.
I think I'm going to call him Houdini from now on.
That's more than a missed tackle.
I think you should put that on SportsCenter's top 10 right there. That is an unreal play.
Then a great block there by Keyshawn Johnson at the end to give him the additional 15 yards for the touchdown. And stunning turn of events. What looked like would be 4th down, and there's an ugly play there for the 3rd down completion to Frick. Becomes a 43-yard touchdown pass to retake the lead. The point after is good by Fogarty, and the Vikings are back in the lead with 2:13 to go in the 4th quarter. 28-24.
And now,
what a play.
Now if you look at the score of the game, 4 touchdowns for Milpitas, 4 missed extra points.
I'm not going to say anything on the extra point.
I mean, it should be 28-28 right now. Even 31-28 by the Trojans. That's unbelievable.
Well, Milpitas will have their opportunity now, and the ball now will be in the Paly defensive side to make a stop. We've seen them look impressive at times, and at others, the Milpitas offense has just rolled over them with ease. Squib kick over the middle, and it hops by Hartley. Picked up on a hop at the 8-yard line. Now moving in the right direction, out across the 10, 15, and spun down at the 19-yard line. Great special teams coverage led by John Martinez for the Vikings, along with Tully McAllister. 2:05 left on the clock here in the 4th quarter. So this is it, 28-24 Paly. All 3 timeouts for Milpitas, only 1 at the Vikings' disposal.
And now what Milpitas lacks is that great pass offense, and they have the tools. They have the tools on their team, but they haven't utilized those tools this game. They've been primarily a run first team, and I mean 2 minutes and 5 seconds, you can't run the ball right now.
They're lining up with a 4-receiver spread formation. Reed, pump fake, throws over the middle, incomplete. Looking for his favorite target, Trey Hartley. He's connected 11 times this year for touchdowns with Hartley. He would love to do so again on this drive. After the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 19-yard line for the Trojans. Paly just really needs 3 stops, and they can win this thing somehow. I don't know how they would have done it, but it could happen. Shotgun for Reed. 3 receivers split wide to the left. Hartley, the lone receiver, to the right. Canada, the lone back to Reed's left. Running down the play clock. Quick drop pass caught by Hartley. Spins by 2 covermen. Has a first down. Out of bounds along the near sidelines at the 43-yard line of Milpitas.
I mean,
gets out of the bounds, stopping the clock with a minute 51.
Everything went right for Milpitas on that play. First of all, they connected the pass. Second of all, they got a good chunk of yards on a first down. And third of all, the wide receiver got out of bounds. That's 3 out of 3 on the checklist right there. He couldn't have executed better, honestly.
2 missed tackles by the Vikings secondary. Aided Hartley's cause. Out of the shotgun, Reed back to pass. And he'll dump it off here to Canada. And look at him run. Canada, blazing speed, first down and more, and he's gone. 57 yards, touchdown Milpitas. Trojans take the lead with a minute 35 left.
Wow, that's nothing turning into something though. Canada was originally, if you look here, who was just blocking. That's
I thought Reed would just.
He literally could have handed
quarterback keeper.
He literally could have handed the ball off there, and that's Chris Johnson, that's cheetah-like speed right there.
Sean Pike couldn't
He
cut
truly
him
just
off, and
look at
then
this.
look at the speed. Just
He just
outrunning everything.
flew by everyone. That's unreal. So fast. And now this extra point is huge. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. This is huge. If they make this, the field goal game, a field goal ties it. If they miss this, a field goal wins it for Paly.
Andrew Williams' point after is good. How about that?
Wow. Never seen that this
After
game.
going 0 for 4 in extra point attempts, 0 for 2 in extra point field goals, 0 for 2 in 2-point conversions, the Trojans have finally conquered and converted an extra point. And they stun this home Paly crowd, retaking the lead with 1:35 to go in the fourth quarter at 31-28. And keep in mind, Paly only has one timeout remaining as well, so they will have to be very efficient.
But also keep in mind, quarterback
know
for
how to
Paly's
pass.
Kelly Christ. That's pretty much what it comes down to. It comes down to him, comes down to the route running, and the play calls. If they can get out of bounds on a lot of plays, if they can catch the ball, Chris can deliver in the clutch. I mean, Paly's got to get close. Definitely in field goal range if they can get a solid return here.
Tully McAllister and Oliver Zversky back to receive. And it will be, or check that, Keyshawn Johnson on the near side from his own 10. And he breaks free, has some room at the 40. Then at the 45-yard line and dragged down by Curtis Hicks. But an excellent return, or check that, that was Marlon on the return there. Not sure who that was. For the Vikings, either way, excellent field position for Keller Christ. 1:25 to go, and the Vikings are at their own 49-yard line. They only have to work with half the field.
I mean, that was huge. Half the field. Got a minute 25, a timeout. Keller Christ as your quarterback. I mean, it looks good. I mean, not gonna lie, it doesn't look too dull for the Vikings right now.
Two receivers, one to the left, one to the right. Milpitas showing blitz, quick drop pass, a strike over the middle. That's complete to Justin Hull. Breaks free inside the 40, down to the 32-yard line. First down, Palo Alto moving the chains. Clock will stop momentarily and restart now under 1:19 to go. If Christ can orchestrate a comeback, this might be his finest hour with the Vikings of this season. Under pressure, trying to roll out of harm's way. Throws a dangerous pass, and luckily for Christ, it just makes its way to the sideline. Johnson was the closest receiver. Both Hartley and Poffenbarger on the Milpitas coverage.
That is a very gutsy play. Very gutsy play. Throwing that,
throw.
I mean, your momentum's going the other way. You try to throw it back across the field out of bounds, and he's lucky he had enough juice on that play, on that throw.
Well, he also knew it could be really a big blow to the Vikings if he took the sack.
Oh, yeah.
That right there is almost 30 seconds you would lose, or you have to burn your final timeout,
And you
which
would,
the Vikings
and
could
it's
ill afford.
loss of 10 yards at least.
Now it's 2nd and 10. The 32 quick drop pass is intercepted. Intercepted by Dwayne Jones, his second of the game, bringing it back into Paly territory, now crossing the field and brought down at the 34-yard line, and that is the ball game.
Wow, I
A
mean,
heartbreaking conclusion for the Vikings, and the Trojans, by the thinnest of margins, will hold on and prevail on the road with a victory here at Palo Alto.
the only word to describe that play is miscommunication. If we could get a replay, that would be phenomenal, but I'm not sure if we could. If you look at the play, Chris throws the ball. The wide receiver still going. Doesn't even turn around.
And Jones just jumped the route.
Oh,
he
I mean,
knew it.
It's not even jumping. I think he even got beat on the route, but the ball just came right into hands like he was the receiver. That's just a tough miscommunication. You got to have that. You got to call plays. When you're in the clutch, you got to call plays that you know are going to work. You know that the wide receiver and the quarterback are on the same page, and I don't know if that was the right play to play there. To call there, excuse me.
All of the momentum there had shifted. It was going in the Vikings' direction. Christ was cruising. The Viking offense was looking primed to head to the end zone for a dramatic touchdown and a come from behind victory in the final seconds, but it was not meant to be. Paly has only one timeout, and it doesn't even look like they'll use it. All Milpitas will have to do is take one more knee, and they will escape out of Hanvray Field with a victory and move to 4-0 in conference play and 6-1 overall in the season to top the SCVAL D'Angeli. Now a flag thrown, and it's Roddy Reed trying to take a knee here in the final seconds. This is a heartbreaker on homecoming night for the Vikings. They thought they had it. They kept moving back and forth here in the final seconds. Milpitas would look like they would have the lead, but then back came Paly, and then back came Milpitas, then back came Paly, and then Keller Crest throws an interception with just over a minute left. And that clinched the victory for Milpitas. The final score tonight in Palo Alto, the Milpitas Trojans 31 and the Palo Alto Vikings 28, in one of the closest games we'll certainly see this year.
I mean, that was a thriller. That was an absolute thriller. Came down to the last second. I mean, you would have honestly thought Chris, they got that drive there and they would have won that game, but I mean, they came back right with that quick little play and they won the game right there in that one play.
And I can't remember the last season where after the first 7 games of the year, Paly was under 500. But with this loss, they now dropped to 3-4 on the season, and only one more home game remaining as well. So things not looking so positive for Paly in terms of CCS playoff outlook.
They're not looking as good as they have. Paly fans, Paly players have been spoiled in the past. They've had threat at the running back and Chris at the quarterback, and now it's simply him. He's been trying to orchestrate the offense all along. And I mean, without that star running back as they had last year, I don't think Paly's fans are as happy, and neither is the team. It's just they're under 500, and it's a tough blow for them.
And yet they were so close. They were just 32 yards in 1 minute there in the fourth quarter from sparking one of the great comebacks in the storied career of Keller Crist at Palo Alto, but it just wasn't quite meant to be on homecoming nonetheless.
Oh yeah, that's even tougher when it's on homecoming night and you lose in that kind of fashion. It's just tough.
So with this victory, the Milpitas Trojans move to 6-1 overall on the season. Palo Alto falls to 3-4. Our next broadcast here on the Palo Alto Media Center is Paly volleyball on Thursday night of next week, Halloween night. And then our next football broadcast is 2 weeks from tonight on Friday night, November the 8th, for the final Palo Alto home game of the season. That will be senior night, the final home game for Keller Crist. That obviously will be a very emotional, important game. Another sellout crowd, I can imagine. And the Los Gatos Wildcats will be here too, so very competitive as always. Great little rivalry there between Paly and Los Gatos. So we look forward to joining you for those upcoming broadcasts. Again, the final score here from Hanvray Field in Palo Alto. The Milpitas Trojans defeat the Palo Alto Vikings in a thriller by a final of 31-28. Now for Kanu Singh and all of our wonderful Palo Alto Media Center crew, led by executive producer Chuck Alley, I'm Trevor Felch. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we'll see you again on Halloween night. Now from Hanvray Field in Palo Alto, good night, everyone.